introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Okay, so my name is Michael Schenker. I'm a documentary photographer, and this is a show that I have up in the month of October here. It's only about kids, minority children in Asia, and I have lots of pictures of children, and I often feel a bit conflicted to show them because I don't want to be typecast as shooting a lot of kids and showing a lot of kids. But the show of the Soho Photo only Asian, dedicated to Asia this month, is sort of an opportunity to show only children, which I took that opportunity, and that's why this work is up. The work is shot in many parts of China, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Laos. And I still have more places to go in China, and also I want to go to Bhutan and Myanmar, and hopefully this will be published in a book, not just of kids, just of minorities in Southeast Asia. That's the short introduction. The actual images are shot on film, 6 medium format film, and I scan them and then output them digitally using a pigmenting system called Schenker. Any questions?
Ask him questions. This is your chance.
Black and white film.
Well, what do you think about black and white film versus black and white digital?
To be honest, I've never bothered to do black and white digital.
Okay.
I always have 2 cameras with me. One's color, which is digital, and one's black and white. And if I'm shooting in black and white, there's a reason for it. So I would never convert a color picture. To me, color images have to be about color. Otherwise, I shoot in black and white.
Okay, very clear. And since you know that they're just learning, wouldn't you suggest that maybe it's a good idea to start in black and white?
That's the way I started.
Okay.
I think black and white is much more difficult than shooting color. I find both in outputting and making decisions about contrast and tonality. It sounds like it would be easier because you're only dealing with the grayscale, but color somehow the presence of color, I find, diffuses a lot of the issues that you have, a lot of decisions you have to make about tonality and contrast, and changes the plane to just more traditional things that you're used to seeing, because we see in color. But black and white, it's a different kind of vision, and therefore I find it's more difficult.
So you're suggesting they should do what's more difficult?
Well, I think you're going to learn more about how you see things, and it will train your eye better to be struck by not necessarily imagery, but just contrast, light and dark, and everything in between, which is what sort of a black and white photographer is always drawn to. Imagery is great, but the separation of grays, to me, and I hope it's clear in the prints, is what is very dynamic.
What got you started on this series?
Just a random trip to Asia in 2001, and happened to be traveling in minority regions in Vietnam and China. And I realized that these places are very quickly shrinking. The host countries are migrating their own people to these places because they need more land and area, just like it happened in America. And their culture is disappearing. So it wasn't like I set out to do it, but once I started doing it, I realized it was a good story to tell. And I better hurry. because they're going fast.
Got it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.